Oh, it's kind of a silly story. I always did art. Like my mom put me in art classes, and I just really liked it. So I was always drawing, but thought I was gonna be like a history girly or something. But then I saw How to Train Your Dragon like when I was in 12th grade of high school, and I was like, you know what? Maybe animation is the way. And then I like made a last minute pivot, and I got into a really good animation school, and then or it was I studied illustration actually, and then I did animation after. So it was kind of like school, and then I just followed the path.
Hello, welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and we got one hell of a guest here today, folks, and that is...
Hello, I'm BabyBonito. You can call me Bonito.
Yeah, Benito. Wait a minute. No offense towards you. Don't take this. But why does it sound like I want to have Mexican food?
Oh, I don't know.
Like burrito. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, never mind.
Well, I mean, it's like a Spanish and Portuguese word, which I didn't realize. And like when I made my name, I made it after the I don't know if you've heard of like bonito flakes. It's like
No.
I've heard of it.
A lot of Japanese dishes have bonito in it, which is like a type of fish. But I didn't realize that it also was like beautiful in Portuguese and Spanish. So when I first started playing VRChat, people would be like, bonita, and I would be like, no, it's the fish. So then I put a fish on my head.
Yeah,
so that's
okay.
why
Well, we got
the head. I'm glad we got that answer.
Fish lore.
Well, we got that question out of the works, and we're just screwing around. Yeah, I like how we just threw the questions in there, piled it up in a little compact, and go, guess what? Can you guess what we're talking about? Sorry, folks. We'll get back to you now. Here we go.
Oh, well, I guess we'll start with the heavy hitter questions for the beginning. What are you most known for? How'd you get started, and how'd you get into VRChat?
What am I most known for? I'm probably most known for like the VRChat documentary about the life drawing community. I feel like because it was at Rain Dance, so I feel like a lot of people saw it. But I also do. I have a world, some VRChat worlds, and I make avatars. So, yeah, a lot of different things.
Oh wow. Cool. So what got you
got her
into
hands in, She's got her hands in a lot of pies.
I guess so.
A lot of pies.
Okay, good. I'll take a Dutch apple, please, if you're making anything. I'm real hungry.
Well, so how'd you get started with all of that, and how would you even get into VRChat, may I ask?
I saw a YouTube video. Do you remember that YouTube video about a kid in a Kermit the Frog avatar talking about being bullied in school? You ever see that video?
I think so.
It was like 2017, 2018.
Was Azil the one who did it?
I can't remember. Oh, I think it was Sirmore. You know that guy?
No, I don't. I'm not familiar.
Okay. Well, I'm a 3D artist, so I was working at an animation studio at the time, and I used to like watch a lot of YouTube while I was working, and so I just went down a rabbit hole watching VRChat videos, and then I was like, man, this thing looks so cool, and then I was thinking about it, but I never committed, and then I finally got a headset during the pandemic, and I started playing a lot, and then making avatars. Yeah.
Oh wow. So what was some of your early days in VRChat like, and how did you get into doing the life drawing documentary worlds and avatars?
Well, I used to like hop around Publix a lot. I feel like it used to be a lot more chaotic when I was first in VRChat. I would get into a lot of trouble. I so many things.
Wait a minute.
So I've seen so many things.
It's still that way. You go into
there was something special that happened during the pandemic, like the early days of the pandemic, you know, and like
gotcha.
not a lot of kids were there yet. So you would go to a public, and it would usually be like a bunch of, I guess, like usually people in their 20s, and I would get on because I live in Canada, and I would usually get on in like the evening. And then the Europeans would all be like partying and like super drunk by that time. So then I would end up in these worlds with like people like partying, and like I met so many Europeans because I wouldn't stay up late enough to meet my fellow North Americans. But yeah, there were like a lot of kids in the Publix, and then so I feel like it was really easy to like meet people at like the Black Cat or whatever, and then you would just like follow them to like a different situations, but yeah, I got into a lot of really uncomfortable things as well, so I'm kind of more of just like I just stick with like different communities and groups, and I meet people through people now.
Okay.
And that's how I got into life drawing, because I met a group through a friend, and then in that group it was called the Seagull's Nest. And Seagulls is great. I interview him in the life drawing documentary, but he had this community where they would like get on VRChat almost every day, and they would just draw for like hours. And then in that group, we were talking about like, oh, have you ever done life drawing? It's so great. And then the creator of the life drawing world was in that group as well, and he was like, oh, I can make that. And then so he made the life drawing world. And then this community kind of like sprouted out of the world, and I wasn't I wasn't part of the life drawing community. I didn't find it organically, I was there because my friend had made the world, so it was like, then we were like, oh, it would be so fun to interview the artists that are using this world to get a sense of like their experiences using it. I was super interested in like how, because it felt sort of like, the butterfly effect, like, oh, I love life drawing, and then I talked about it, and then it became a world, and now all these people are drawing in this world because of like this like butterfly effect. So I thought it was really cool to get to know them more and like spend time painting with them and kind of record that and show other people.
Oh wow! So what
I got one for her, and I haven't and stuff like this. What was when you first came on? What was the weirdest thing you ever saw in VR?
Oh my god, dude! How is 18+ stuff okay on this?
We've heard everything from hot dogs and hamburgers, wrestling, to people finding other people inside of stalls. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I think one of the weirdest things was because somebody wasn't communicating to me like where we were going, and then we were just having a conversation, and then somebody was like, "Come to this portal," and we were like, "Okay." And then we went in, and it was like literally like a sex dungeon, and there was like, it was the first time I ever saw that like VRChat dick, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I don't know how to feel. I think I need to go. I'm not in the right headspace for this.
Fair, I could see why that would be the weirdest thing.
I think in the early days, it was like, oh, women voice? Great, come with me to this weird sex thing. Like, that was like the thing that, I don't know, like I found myself just getting ferried into things. And I was like, no, guys, this is not the right time. It is 6 p.m. for me. Bye,
There. Oh, well, I'm sorry you got pulled into something like that. I'm sure it was quite shocking.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I bet you were making some wisecracks. If I was, I sure would have been. I would have just laughed my way through that all the way to the end.
It was hilarious. But also, like, yeah, I'm like, people need to communicate better. Like, you know what I mean?
No offense, but it sounds like somebody I know, won't mention names besides you, that's in this room, that loves to pull that trick. And he does it to a certain world that he does it all the time, but there's nothing sick about it.
No, he's referring to which world. There's a world I will pull people into, which is a Rick Astley world. It's a big white or green square, purple backdrop with giant dancing Rick Astleys with a Rickroll going in the background, and every like 6 months we'll go back into it, and I'll just invite people because it looks like an unassuming city world. So people go, oh, what's Lion doing? He never invites me places, and then they go off into a Rick Astley world, and the first thing he gets a bunch of squares and extra.
It's funny.
Oh my gosh,
it's funny. Yeah, we have a blast. He has a blast.
Well, that's harmless.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh, well,
not emotionally scarring, hopefully.
Well, some people found it emotionally scarring, but back off of that. into when you did the Life Jog documentary, what kinds of things did you learn interviewing and learning about the community that you helped create, in a sense?
Oh, that's a great question. I think one of the themes that came up that I wasn't expecting was that because the life drawing world uses a prefab that's based off of it's an Infutu prefab, and it's based because Infutu is a Japanese creator, and they made this painting prefab based off of Japanese calligraphy.
Hmm.
So the palette is actually very like the tools are very limited. So when you paint something, there's no like Control Z, so you can't go back. And there is a color picker now, but you know it has like, so if you draw something and you want to go back, you kind of have to like get the white, or you have to match the color, and then you kind of have to paint over it. And you can take pictures of it, but when you crash from the world, your painting's just gone. Like there's no save function in the world or anything. So what I found out, like interviewing the different artists, is that that was actually kind of like a good thing for them. Like they just kind of were painting, taking it as sort of like an experience and like building up skill instead of like this precious piece of artwork at the end that they would have forever. It was almost more important that the art was sort of impermanent. And I thought that was so interesting because that's something that I find working in digital art. So if you're working on Photoshop or Procreate or something, and you can always Control Z, it kind of takes away some of that like intuitive, sort of fluid, like we work with our mistakes kind of attitude that you would get from like working with traditional media like watercolor or acrylic. So they kind of had the energy of artists that work with like traditional medium, but they were working in like such a digital space. So I thought that was really, really interesting.
Oh. So did you partake enough into the community to see it grow, or did you kind of come back and do the documentary after it already grew a while?
I think it's really its own kind of big thing that I like check in every once in a while, and I'm friends with some of the people that are like really active members in it, but I definitely wouldn't say like I don't spend a lot of time there. So yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of hovering around the community instead of like actually in it, but I have seen it grow for sure. And yeah, like we try and be as like supportive as we can, but there's always growing pains, you know. So it's been really cool seeing how the like leaders of that community kind of like navigate the growing pains, and how art is really what brings everybody together. So they have some unique challenges.
I'm sure. So another question like that is like you said you also do worlds and avatars. How did you find yourself making those, may I ask?
Oh my god, avatars! It was like the thing I was like, I need to make one of these because I saw this kid in a Kermit the Frog avatar, and I was like, I want to be in a Kermit the Frog avatar, like. And yeah, I'm a 3D artist like by trade, so I was like, oh, just being inside of something that you create is like that concept was so interesting to me. So that was like one of the first things I did when I got VR. I was like, okay, I'm making an avatar. Like that's my that's my goal.
Oh.
I'm just wait a minute. I'm just curious. Nothing. But I've seen some real cursed Kermit the Frogs. I hope yours wasn't as bad.
I never made a
bad.
Kermit the Frog. I only made like my different versions of my own characters, but I tried on a lot of Kermit the Frogs, and there's a variety.
Yeah, quite a few.
Oh.
Yes, and some of them are very cursed.
Indeed.
Yeah, but that's what makes them so good.
Mm-hmm. Imagination goes a long ways when somebody takes it outside the box. Yeah.
Oh. So how many avatars have you created over time, and what were some of your first avatars you built?
My God, that's such a good question. I don't know how many I've made. Maybe around 20, but then I make like variations of certain ones.
Okay. Oh.
This is one of my first ones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I see.
I made this like cute little skirt, some chunky shoes.
Oh.
Oh, and then I made this guy.
Oh. A neat avatar.
Well, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, they're all different, you know? It's like people would look at me and they'd be like, "What the fuck are you?"
Well, if you can't figure it out, I have a heart to point out the direction you need to go.
This one I made for oh gosh, what was it called? Is it Avatar Jam? Whoa. And it's one of the default fallback avatars
Oh wow.
now because it accepted it into the thing.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a neat avatar.
Oh.
Have you been beat by a fish today?
Oh. So
Because you can be.
Mm.
So with some of these avatars you've shown us, what were the inspirations behind them, and how is what you've built here different from how you'd built as a 3D animator outside of VRChat?
I think when I first came into VRChat, I was like, nothing felt right to me because I feel like that no styles really fit me that I could see. There'd be some that would be close, but then I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. So I think this whole time, all of the avatars I'm creating is either a style that I want to see that I haven't seen because yeah, I read a lot of like indie comics and I love art and illustration, and there's just so many different styles, like character styles out there that are like slightly different, you know, and but I feel like we just haven't seen like as many variations in VRChat yet for like the style that people, because usually it's like there's a certain type of anime person that people like to be, or there's like certain base meshes, and I find they all kind of like, some of them look radically different, but usually they kind of follow like a similar formula. So I feel like I just wanted to see more variation in like style that people could be, I guess.
Okay. So is the building process for the avatars you built in VRChat similar to what you do professionally as an animator?
I wasn't actually an animator. I do a lot more like did some modeling and texturing, but I did mostly like compositing. And so it was actually more creative, I think. Like doing VR chats as a hobby was like a more creative outlet because you're doing everything from scratch. And then you can be inside of it and animate it, which is so fun. Just seeing your creations move. But I wasn't good at rigging when I first started. So that was like, most of my avatars have like a very cursed rig.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier the thought of being in something you created. What was it like seeing yourself inside something you've built for the first time? Like some of the first avatars and stuff.
Oh my god. Euphoric. It was amazing. Oh my god. Actually, that's so funny because I was talking with you. You interviewed Chocolate Willy, right?
Yeah, a long time during PGKT in June.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Chocolate like will wear some of my avatars sometimes, and then he'll like dance in them, and like that is one of the most amazing feelings of all time. Like it's like, I don't know how do you even describe it. It's like it's like Pinocchio, you know, like it just feels so magical. Like you make this thing and then now it's like it's got a soul inside of it, and it's like surprising you, and it's looking in ways that, yeah, I don't know, it's so magical.
Oh, so how is seeing someone like Choco Willy in your avatar dancing different from what you would do outside, man? Seeing it move on a screen of sorts versus what you see it in a headset. Is there a difference between like the perception of them, of your art?
Yeah, I think it's more collaborative, I guess. Because I think the really beautiful thing about it is that I don't have any expectations for what my avatars are going to be used for, especially if it's an avatar that I release publicly. So when I'm working on an animated project, it's usually somebody else's character design, or the project as a whole is somebody else's project. Or if it's my own, it's like I have this really rigid structure of like what my idea of it at the end is going to be. But with VRChat, it's like I make an avatar and I'm like, I want to make this because it's cute or weird or fun, and then people just do things with it that I just don't expect, and I'm like, whoa. I didn't see this, like I didn't plan for this, and like you gave it so much more magic than I thought it could have. And it's just like that little surprise. It's like so fun because it's hard to get those little surprises when you're working on a project for money, because everything kind of needs to be like plotted out and have like a reason. But it's nice just how like kind of random and playful it is.
Okay. Is the
How long does it usually take you to make an avatar from beginning to end?
Ooh, I guess it depends. I feel like, if the one that I was wearing when I first came in, that one took way less time because I was like, I want to do something really low poly and kind of scrappy. So that one probably took like a couple days, like not working too hard. But then something like this, I think, took a little bit more time. So it could take upwards to like a week or two.
Okay.
Yeah, it just depends.
Oh. And with worlds, how did you find yourself building worlds? Like, so, I saw some of them in your profile. How did you end up starting that, and how was that different from your experience with avatars? Did you get the same feeling as you described seeing things with life?
I find avatars so much easier, but I know so many world creators and they're like, avatars are so hard. I think worlds are so much easier. So I don't know if it's like a different brain thing or like what the difference is. The only reason I made worlds was because I am friends with some really amazing world creators, and they kind of like gently pushed me to like make some worlds. And every time I do it, I think it's so fun. I'm like, this is so cool. I love being in my worlds. But starting one is like so scary to me. I don't know why. It's like so intimidating. I
Oh. Well,
don't know.
what was it like seeing your first world built after you struggled through it, I guess, as a question, I guess.
Yeah. I think it was really it was really fun, like seeing everyone. I think seeing people come in and experiencing it with me was really fun. But also, yeah, I don't know, because my first world was Bonito's Hatchery, which was sort of like a world building exercise for my like character, Baby Bonito. And like I was trying to think through like, okay, if she had a home, like what would that home look like, and what would be in it, and how would the space feel? So yeah, like thinking about it and then making it, but then when you go into it, it's like, I don't know. It felt like the space was real, I guess, especially because I've been going there for like every time I log in, I go there. It's been like 3 years maybe now. So it actually feels like my home now. My virtual home.
Was that kind of feeling between the avatar and the world something expected coming into VRChat? Having that familiarity with something like that?
No, I didn't realize. Oh my god, actually, I didn't realize how deeply you would like connect memory to worlds. Like, I get so nostalgic for worlds that I just like haven't visited in a while, or like there's worlds that I used to love that got deleted, and it like hurts. It like hurts to even think about them sometimes, because I'm like, and I just did not expect to like feel that kind of connection. But you just spend so much time in some places with people and have all these memories.
Hmm. It's kind of like a similar feeling to watching a building or someplace in real life you grew up with. Maybe it's a park, maybe it's a corner store you go to as a child, then gets mulled over and it's an apartment building now. Similar feeling. I
Yeah,
feel.
exactly. Mm. Yeah, it's kind of like passage of time or whatever. It's existential dread.
Yeah, I know that one.
Oh. So, where does the inspiration for some of your characters or worlds you've made come from? Where do you pull your inspirations from to build them?
Hmm. Um, I think as an artist, like the working in VRChat, one of the things that I find more drawn to is like the collaborative, like collaboration. Because it's so easy here. Like, yeah, you have a like I have an avatar, and then I talk to people and I meet people, and then they like give me feedback. Like
Yeah.
it's they don't I don't think they don't see it as feedback, but like I remember I went into a world one time and somebody was just like, what the fuck, your head is like this, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, let me go back and like make a note and like, see what I can do. Like, oh, people are thinking my head is like this, or some people think like this avatar is really really cute, or this one's like I made a Cupid avatar, and I think it's really cute, but a lot of people think it's really creepy. And then when I was watching people feel disgusted at my avatar, I was kind of like, oh wait, I kind of like that feeling. Like I kind of like making something really gross. So I was like leaning into it a bit more. I was like trying to gross
Go to
people
the
out.
dark side of things. It ain't supposed to be pretty. It's supposed to aggravate the hell out of you. You're gonna enjoy it or run from it. I'm gonna get that feeling. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like, yeah, when people like would I mean, I identify as a woman. I use she, her pronouns, but I find like, sometimes people would make really big gender assumptions of me in the game. So I would be like, okay, I'm gonna do something that's kind of like not that, and I'm gonna like make you, second guess what you're looking at, stuff like that. So it's kind of like maybe a little antagonistic. Like that's what gets me going. Like to make things, it's like, oh, everything's like this, and we have a sense of what's normal, and I just want to like disrupt it a little bit, maybe.
Okay. So,
I like her. She's my hero. It's just the way to be in VR. That's the way it is.
Right?
Yeah, you just want to go, see that? And then they walk away. You're going, whoa, did you just see what walked by? When you get somebody to take a double take and have to look, and then
Yeah.
you hear it in the back of your head, back in your ear, they're talking about, what the hell just walked by? I saw it too, but I am friend. Then they're curious. You get one before it's over. It's like ants going to a sugar cube. Hey, did you see that? We got to go over there and find out what the hell that was. And they all come over, and you just stand there minding your own business. Yeah, I've seen that a lot in here. And to see something like what you're doing is just, that's great, because then you have to tell, did you see? And then they all see what? I hate those people go, see what? Knowing they were looking at exactly the same time I walked by.
Oh.
But it's funny. I get a kick out of that. I like this. This is fun. This is really fun. I love how you want to go, that direction with what you're working with, and that's great, because if you can get one person, just even one person, just to notice, and if too bad you don't, our headsets don't have a back cam, so you have a little, you don't have that, because you can see what they're watching or whatever the deal is. You don't have that. Someday they might, but that'd be cool, because then you would see the reaction. People would have way too much fun because you'd be acting to see if somebody's actually paying attention. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I like this. This
It's
is
really
great. I
it's
like
really
the way,
amazing, like to be able to get like see how people react to you, and then like alter it a little bit, and then see what that does, and just like kind of keep playing with it. It's like kind of a rare opportunity.
what have been some of your favorite reactions to the things you've made in VRChat so far?
Yeah, surprisingly disgust. Like I really like when people are like, "Oh, this is kind of creepy," or like, this is kind of fucked up." So
And you go, well, that's another one for the point of the calendar. We got another fuck
Yeah.
up, and somebody thinks I'm a little beyond the situation, but they don't get it. Have you had anything like that? Have you ever had anybody come up to you straight up and going, huh? I don't get it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a
Have you?
lot.
Okay.
Especially in the early days, like the one that I showed you with the skirt. I used to wear that avatar a lot, and I would hang around. I was hanging around with a lot of. I think I was hanging around with a lot of different people, but people were just like, they're just like, "What the fuck are you?" Like they would literally just be like, "What the fuck are you?" And then sometimes people would be like, "Where's your boobs?" Like they would just be so like, and I was like, "What do you? I don't have to have them." Like,
What the hell? What the hell?
oh, people used to constantly be like, "Why the fuck are your feet so big? Like you have the biggest feet I've ever seen." And I was like, "Yeah, I like big feet. Like, what are you gonna do?" It's like we're in VR. Like, get over it. Like, I can have big feet if I want.
Oh my god! Then you're just going, why do you have such? You got a foot fetish? I'm just trying to help you out. That you just gotta know how
I'm
to
like covered
flip
in
that.
socks.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
with them,
it's really
with
easy.
them, I mean, what's wrong?
Yeah.
You got a problem with feet? You got a foot fetish? You just
It's-
throw it on.
Yeah.
I can. Like I
Doesn't
said,
mean
it's
anything
just,
to me, you know.
yeah, it's me and Lion do this kind of stuff to each other all the time, and people will stand back and wonder what the hell's wrong with us, and everything else, and they come and go, "Are you guys okay?" We'll look at it going, "I don't know, Lion, are we okay?" And Lion will pop up, "Man, I don't know. Today's been a little weird." All of a sudden, now we're starting talking back and forth, and we completely forgot they were there. We're just going, "I don't know, Lion." I mean, you get that in here, and it's when people like what you're doing makes it worth a bigger, instead of just going, "Wow, let's stand in front of a mirror" situation. You're having fun and you're getting a kick out of it because you wanted to go down the wrong road instead of the good road. You don't get that. You don't get people in here like that very often unless they're trying to cause problems, but you're just doing it because, hey, I made something cool beans.
Gentle, positive trolling. The gentle troll, if you will.
The gentle. I
Yeah.
bet she's found her bridge too, like you and I, Lion.
Maybe so.
Yeah, see,
The
Brian,
bridge?
yeah, well, see, me and Lion are both trolls in a way, and everything else. Lion's under a highway bridge, and I'm under a railroad bridge that's falling in.
Oh, we all have different bridges. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
So what kind of bridge are you under if you're a light troll setup?
I think like a public park, like a little public park bridge with the swans.
Okay, I gotcha. It's nice and settling, but look out for the gruesome that comes out of underneath the bridge. Boom, I got you.
I sent the swans first and then attack.
My God.
They're vicious. You gotta watch out.
Oh yeah, swans are fun. Oh, my mom and dad had 6 of them. Anybody? They were worse
They
than
had
dogs.
swans?
Yeah, we had swans and geese.
Whoa,
Swans and
that's so
geese on the
cool.
farm. And those things, I don't care what the deal was. Anybody walked in the yard, man, you're fair game. I don't care. My mom get out of the car and get chased. It's worse than having a dog chase you around the car. Those things.
God.
And what's funny is, my mom every morning let them out. They had a coop that they were in and everything, and they'd follow her and everything else. But it would never make any sense is if she'd go get groceries, get out of the car, and they'd chase her around the car, knowing that following morning she let them out and they followed her all over the yard for about an hour. But yeah, it didn't make no sense. Like their brain just goes. Yeah, it was. I've never heard my mom cuss so much. My mom's not a person that cusses much, but man, she was cussing that day.
Swans brought it out.
Yeah, brought it out. She's chewing ass. Wow.
Amazing.
Oh. Well, of all the avatars you've made so far, what have been some of your favorites?
Oh, actually, this one for sure. That's such a good question. This one has a lot of variants, and this one's another one of my faves. It has like a tank on the back that you can like sit in.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like carry carry desktop people around while we like go on little adventures.
Aw.
Hmm. Oh, this one. Yeah, I was really into this like low poly look. Like this is like a retro avatar.
No offense, but you remind me of Polly Pocket. You know those little
Oh
toys that the kids,
yeah.
the kids that yeah, I gave one to my daughter one time, and I told her whatever you do, don't swallow the pieces because they were so small.
They're so
And
small.
she was all
yeah.
and she goes,
Dangerous.
"What?" And all I got out of her, she goes, "Why would I put it in my mouth? You're sick." That's all I got out of her.
Oh, and then this
You
is the
just
one that
oh
Willie
wow.
uses.
Oh.
Wow.
So this is
Now I feel like I'm at a fair. Hey, here's your Cupid doll. Have fun. Yeah.
so this
You were smart
terrifies a
enough
lot
to
of
not.
people.
Why? They used to make it as a doll at fairs. What? Oh
Raptor,
boy.
you tell me. I don't know, but
I-
damn, does it give me joy to watch people run away from this baby?
Just get a kick out of watching stuff. Oh my gosh.
And when people
Oh,
put on
wow.
full body and use it, oh my god, it's just pure joy. Pure joy.
Oh, I bet they do some weird crap with it. Holy crap. Can you imagine that in full body? That would be weird.
It's so cursed. It's so cursed.
So, what led to the creation of the baby mask? If it,
I just love Cupid. And I thought, oh, this is something I can make easy peasy. And yeah, that's really.
okay, I have to ask
I
because
just
I
saw it
wasn't
and I was
sure
like,
what you
that's
mean.
cute.
What's Cupid?
Oh my god. Okay, so Cupid has this like legacy. It was created by a German cartoonist, like I think in the early 1900s, and then she made little comics for it, and it's on a lot of like kitschy gift stuff. But then they started making dolls of it, and it got really popular in Japan. So there's little Cupid dolls, and then the mayonnaise, Cupid mayonnaise, in Japan is a thing, and then they put the Cupid baby on the mayonnaise, and there's all these like really weird commercials for the mayonnaise that you can watch with the Cupid dolls. I don't know. There's something about it. Just enduring.
Yeah,
An
and then-
enduring baby.
And then it came over here to the United States, and they used it more in fairs for prizes and stuff like this at carnivals and stuff like that.
That's so
It's
funny.
Cupid doll. So if you won a prize, that's what you got was a Cupid doll, and everything else like this. And yeah, my sister had one of those, and I hated the stupid thing because she used to torment me with it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What did you do? What did she do with it?
Oh, I was a lot younger and stuff like this. So I'd wake up and the stupid thing would be in the bathtub. You know, I'd go in, mom and
She's like
she'd
alpha on a
put it
shelf
in the-
you with the Cupid.
Yeah. Well, what she would do, she would turn around and put it in the bathroom sink or in the bathtub, stuff like this. Or I'd go take a nap because I was young, when I was younger, and everything else like this. And I'd wake up and the stupid thing would be beside me. Stupid stuff just to that's just sisters.
That's
and it was
so
just
funny.
stuff, and I hated it because she carried this stupid thing just to aggravate the hell out of me. She didn't play with it; she just carried it around. Yeah, it was a pain in the ass. My sister,
Everybody's got a Cupid story.
yeah, but yeah, my dad one time goes, "Do you want to?" I go, "No, I'll take something else." That kind of crap. When you went to this, the state fairs or the carnival or something like that, and he goes, "I'll win you something." I go, "No." Well, my dad won the doll, but I gave it to my sister. She was a lot older and everything else, and maybe she didn't want the damn thing, so she aggravated the hell out of me because she got it and she didn't want it. I don't know what the story behind it was, but you got to realize my sister picked on me so bad. She used to make me eat mud pies with dead grasshoppers in it.
Oh,
That's my
that's
sister.
dark. That's gross.
Yeah, that's my sister. Yeah, it's a cookie. You'll like this.
Oh no!
Yeah, just siblings are just that way, you know.
Gosh,
That's,
I never did that to my little sibling.
yeah, I was younger than her, and she just thought it was fun. Hey, look what I got to pick on. You know, it's just,
Oh
she hung
man.
me upside down in an apple tree when I was a kid. Yeah.
Oh,
I was screaming. What it was is she was playing with her Barbies and stuff like this, and I was aggravating her. So she got a rope, hung me upside down in the tree. But Dad, I was sitting there. I wasn't up there that long, but my dad came home and goes, "God, he's screaming up a storm." He goes, "Yeah, but at least he's not bothering me. He's not picking on me.
yeah,
He's
we don't
not
know her side of the story.
Oh yeah.
How
Well,
aggravating
Dad
were
got.
you?
I couldn't tell you, but and everything else like this. So Dad turned around and goes, "Well, cut him down." And for you hanging him up there, he hung her up there for a few minutes, and then
For real?
oh yeah, oh yeah. My
Oh.
dad's the kind of person that's just, if you're gonna do something like that, you better make sure you're gonna pay the piper one way or another. So yeah,
Yeah.
he hung her upside down there and
Yeah.
everything else like this. But she was up there less time than I was. He just hung her up when she was finally upside down, then let her down. Then she turned around and wanted to be hung up there all the time. That's just my sister. It was just just the way life.
Oh,
Siblings are
Yeah.
weird.
oh. I have another question for you. You said you do animation and art and stuff. How'd you find yourself getting started with that? How'd you find yourself in that kind of career? Hello, I'm actually here to interrupt the episode you're watching really quick to ask you a favor. Please come join us at any of the other locations we have. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify, both of which we post our episodes and are very up to date on both. We have Discord where you go to hang out all the time, where you're gaming and shooting the breeze over with many people over that way. Feel free to come join us. I invite you. If you wish to support us, we have a Patreon where we post a bunch of random bits, bobs, and extra podcasts every once in a while for you to go enjoy. Also, if you wish to support us while in VRChat, we're now part of the creator economy. So please come join if you wish to support us there. It's there for you to choose if you so wish. And thank you very much. And a special thanks to some of the people who have signed up on our Patreon, which are as follows. And I have written down so I'll remember. And that's a tough thing. Forbidden Zero, Niche, Aliquum, Future Oracle, Lesser Capybara, and Frozen. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Oh, it's kind of a silly story. I always did art. Like my mom put me in art classes, and I just really liked it. So I was always drawing, but thought I was gonna be like a history girly or something. But then I saw How to Train Your Dragon like when I was in 12th grade of high school, and I was like, you know what? maybe animation is the way. And then I like made a last minute pivot, and I got into a really good animation school, and then or it was I studied illustration actually, and then I did animation after. So it was kind of like school, and then I just followed the path, you know.
Oh,
Okay, I got a question for you. Since because I draw in my spare time and stuff like this, what's one of the biggest pieces of work besides what you do in here that you've done and everything else like this? And describe a little bit about the artwork that you've done,
Ooh.
in that situation.
Like biggest project like outside of VRChat?
That you've done that you
Uh,
didn't do it for a company, but you did it for yourself.
for myself.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. Well, I think BabyBonito is like a big project that I do for money, or for not money. I mean, like a personal project. But other than that, I think I write a lot of comics, like little comics, and then I get them printed and I bind them into zines, and then I usually like share them or go to like little zine fairs and sell them. So I feel like that's like a kind of ongoing thing because it's a lot of work writing a story and then drawing it. So, and I've made like a few at this point. So that's probably the other biggest one.
So you're trying to tell. So what you're trying to tell me is you've bind your own books.
Yeah,
Have
but
you
they're
done
really
some?
small. Like the biggest one I
Okay.
did. Well, actually, the biggest one I did was I illustrated and then my friend wrote it and it was 40 pages. But that was like the biggest one. And then after that, it's usually between like 12 and 20 pages. And I'll get them printed with like a, I don't know if you know what a reso printer is. Yeah, so I
Yes,
get them reso printed and then I staple bind them and then I share them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I got you. I thought you actually did the old-fashioned binding of the book.
No, one day I hope to learn how to do that, but not right now.
Okay.
Oh, so if you make your own comics,
Do you make zines?
Oh,
sorry.
my bad. No.
I shouldn't be asking questions.
Oh, you ask questions. Go for it.
Oh, go for it. You can ask questions.
Do you make zines as well?
No, I haven't picked up a pencil in almost 20 years. I doodle once in a great while and stuff like this. I used to do
drawing.
I used to do a lot and stuff like this, and I've lost touch and everything else. Now I'm into making crafts and stuff like this, and trying to get going
fun.
and making and stuff like that and everything else like this. But yeah, once in a great while, I'll pick up a pencil and start playing with it, and something comes to mind, and I'll just doodle on a piece of paper, and then it gets tossed over in a corner with the rest of them, and it's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, go to live drawing. Draw with the people.
Oh. So how'd you find yourself making zines, and what is your zines and illustrations about?
How did I'm friends with a lot of people who also do it, so I feel like I was like, oh, they're doing it, I can do it. And then what do I write about? I like fantasy. Like I read a lot of like folk tale. Most of my stories kind of read like a folk tale. Like I did a comic for BabyBonito, so it's a animatic on YouTube, and then you can also read the comic on my booth. But it's kind of like my origin story, and that one I feel like it reads like a folk tale, even though it's not like set in a historical setting or anything. But it has that kind of energy. So most of my stories end up like that. I also do a lot of autobiographical comics. Talking about just like things in my life. But so like a mix between the two, I guess.
Okay. So what is the origins of BabyBonitos? Ask.
I'm not going to do it any justice explaining it. So I'd say go watch the animatic because it's on YouTube. It's called BabyBonito Origins. My friends Life Toast and Lieutenant, they did voice acting for it. And then my friend Blue Cat, who's a big world creator in VRChat, did the music for it. And then we put everything together, and it's so much better to experience it that way than for me to tell you. But basically, there's some freaky science stuff, some freaky like mad scientist stuff that happens with a fish and a human. That's the elevator pitch.
Okay. So where did the name come from then, Mask? Well, how did you get the name, and did the story come first or did it come after the avatar?
I was literally just like, I need a name that nobody else has on the internet. So I was just like taking words and like combining them and trying to find a name that like wasn't taken. And so I ended up typing in like BabyBonito, like, and I was like, okay, great. Nobody has this name and it's like pretty cute. There's a lot of B's and O's and stuff. So I used that name, but then yeah, as I was playing VRChat, I was like, oh no, people are getting the wrong idea with this name. Their first thought is like, this person wants to be hit on, which is like not the case. So I was like, okay, I need to rebrand. So then I put a fish on my head. But then after I put the fish on my head, people would have conversations with me where they're like, so what's your story? Like, why do you have this fish on your head? Why is it that your body looks so different, but you still have the fish? And then we would kind of joke around being like, oh, maybe like you're not the one that's in charge. Maybe your fish is like actually the one that's in charge. And then we would start doing this sort of like storytelling that would like go over like long periods of time, and then other people would get involved. So I was like, oh, I should actually like think about this and write this down. Like, and then I made my world, and that was before I had thought about like what this what story would be. But the world's kind of creepy. Like it's really cute, but it also has these elements that are like a little creepy, which is like that's what I do. And so people were also like, wait, what's this? What's the deal with the like weird tanks that hold avatars? Like why do you have that? And like so yeah, I was like, okay, it's gonna be a little creepy, and there's why are there tanks? That's a great question. So yeah, it was sort of like yeah, this like collaborative storytelling over time. It was really fun.
So are moments like that some of your favorite memories, like the collaborative projects that kind of build itself over time?
Oh my god, yeah. 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 It's like I feel like it's so unique to social VR. Like just world building together, you know?
Mm, I can see that being a very social VR thing as well. I could see that. A lot of the stories we hear from people, like how they even found themselves the places, is through collaborative efforts. They usually start with, hey, I have a thing to show you. The next thing you know, they're doing something completely different from what they're used to.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So when you look back at some of these projects, such as the world you're describing to us or the story of the avatars, did you expect the journey you've been on from when you first hopped on VR when you watched that YouTube video a long time ago?
No. Not at all. Not at all. It's so much more rich. Especially at that time, like when I was watching those YouTube videos, it was like a lot of just like people trolling, like, you know, streamers coming in and doing this thing where they're like gawking at all the users. Like they're just kind of like, these people are weird.
Mm.
Um, and I think I was more interested in. I mean, if you haven't seen this I don't know how to pronounce his name, Seymour video. He kind of took this approach where he was like really interested in like people's stories, like who
Mm.
the person behind the avatar was, and I think that's why I really liked those videos. But yeah, looking at the other people who were just kind of like streamers, being like, "Whoa, this is so weird." I feel like it gave me I think it prepared me for what it was gonna be like public hopping because that was like it could be so horrible sometimes, and I feel like watching the streamers like prepared me for that, but I didn't expect like how deeply you can connect to people, and sometimes people that I think I've said this so many times, but there's people that I'm really close with that I just would never ever have known without this platform. Like, and I feel like because we're in a common creative sort of fantastical space, we can like be together in a way that like we just could never be in person, you know? So it's yeah, I just didn't
Mm.
expect that.
Mm. I've heard similar sentiments on the whole, like not expecting to meet people you would normally of it from a few different people in VRChat, because VR, social VR, has this weird way of connecting people that would normally meet in a real life scenario, whether that be someone who would normally be in a corporate environment and someone who maybe work at a gas station who would normally meet
Yeah.
or talk in an experience, and social VR just pulls people like that together very commonly.
It's so cool.
Hmm. Okay. Oh, so now, how has VR changed your perspective on art and what you do normally, may I ask? From like getting into working avatars and stuff, do you view your own art outside any differently, or is it kind of the same?
Oh man. Well, I have to admit because of VR chat and working on avatars and worlds, like, because I actually never really was like a gamer. Like, I didn't play games that I don't play games that much. I sort of got into VR chat because of like the 3D art connection, not so much the like gaming connection.
Mm.
So I was like learning so much stuff. Like I was like, oh, we need to like, what is optimization? What are shaders? Like what is all this stuff? And because of that, and just how open everyone is to sharing like the process of how this stuff works, and like, people are so willing to be like, oh, you need help with that? Like, yeah, well, let's jump in a call for like 3 hours and figure out like your really obscure Unity issue. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Um, and then so because of that, I built all of these like game skills, and now I have a job working in the gaming industry. So it's like I was able to
Oh
make this
wow.
pivot because of these skills that I learned here. So I feel like um that was it was almost like an intense boot camp that this environment like allowed me to have. And then being in social VR like as an artist, I think it made me realize that yeah, the biggest joy of art is like for me is seeing how other people interact with it, and also like letting people play with what I have, like what I've made. Like when I see people wearing my avatar and they're like doing weird things in it, or like I see people in my world like having fun. I'm like, I just love seeing people like doing things with my art instead of having it, drawing something and like putting it up on a wall and like that's it. People just kind of like look at it. It's like a very, very different thing, and I did not realize that that's what I actually wanted, out of that
Oh wow.
relationship.
Oh wow.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. Now I have a question in a similar vein as well. With the with the kind of environment you're in doing art prior to VRChat, before the gaming industry, in VRChat, were the environments the people you interact with is similar or different in any way? Like the whole sitting in a call helping you figure out a Unity issue, that kind of thing, or the collaborative, are they
Oh,
same at all, or are they different? I've never been in the art world, so I don't know.
well, yeah, I was thinking about this recently because it can be very different depending on like the community that you're in.
Mm,
But from what I experienced, like in school and then kind of out of school in the industry, I also think like AAA gaming or whatever. It's probably like very different than like this sort of scrappy like indie game environment.
mm.
Um, but there's sort of this there's like a coveting of like skills and process in a lot of the art world that I find really annoying because I have this like natural tendency to want to like just tell everybody everything. Like when people are like, "How did you make that?" I'm like, "Oh, I used Blender and I used this add-on and I did this and like here, let me show you." And people are like, "Whoa, okay." But then a lot of the times when you ask like people how they did something, they're like, "Oh, it's my secret." Like that's my style. Like, oh, and then I'm like, "Okay. All right." And usually if I help people and I share my process with them, they're more willing to like share their process with me. So it's probably like a cultural thing. But there is a bit more of that like budding, and then also just like, oh my god, my school used all Apple stuff, and there's just like this culture of like, I don't know, like let's not actually understand how things work. We'll just like use the skills and we'll pay the subscription fee and we'll just keep doing the thing. But I found like after being in here and you switching over to Blender and like starting to use like more open source stuff and just sharing things, it's like it's a totally different culture. So I really love that.
Oh, really? So, how different were the tools that you were used to using versus what you're using now? You see, based on like since you're telling us like your life kind of changed since you've come into VRChat.
Well, I switched to Blender a bit before VRChat, because they did a really lovely update in 2019. And I was sort of more already kind of drawn to like not paying because I don't know if you guys know what happened with Adobe, but they started charging these wild subscription fees, and it's like as an artist, like having a personal account, it's like I can't afford this. Like it's too much. So I started like switching to like more open source softwares a bit before VRChat. But then when I was working in the industry, they sort of would keep a lot of the software. Like I don't know if you've heard of Maya.
Mhm.
We used Maya instead of Blender as the 3D software. Yeah, but again, like subscription. So it's hard to like teach students Maya, for example, because it's like they're like, oh, I don't have a license, or like I would need to like I don't know, so it's like harder to share that information. But when you're in an open source environment, it's sort of like everybody can just open the thing up and work on it and look at it and like take it apart, and there's not such an overhead cost. I feel like just being here and seeing how people grow like so quickly, if they have like the access to free software and they have access to people that can teach them, it's like it's almost a different way of looking at like learning in general.
Okay. I've actually a really good friend of Raptor and I's, Code Advance actually uses Maya pretty regularly, and we've heard some of his tales of trying to learn Blender more recently from being used to Maya for so long.
Yeah, it's a bit of a jump. Like it's been I haven't used Maya really since 2019, so I feel like I've lost all of my Maya skills. But I remember when I was learning Blender, I was like, nothing makes sense. Why doesn't it have all these cool tools that Maya had? But it's just like everything's an add-on that you have to like add to make it match Maya. But so good luck on that journey.
Cool. So when you like with people outside of the social VR scene and you kind of tell them about what you do, how do they normally take to what you're telling them or showing them what you do here in VR Master? Is it something they take pretty easily, or do they kind of have some skepticism?
Well, I feel like most of the people that are like regularly in my orbit are they can't escape it. I'm like, let me tell you what I did today. Like they've been forced to come with me this whole time. So I feel like they get it and they're like pretty excited about stuff I do, or they're like, whoa, that's so crazy. But then when I meet people for the first time, especially artists, it can be really hard to like kind of I feel like I have to work past this like tech I don't know what the word is. It's like a skepticism or like it's because I mean I think there's value in this opinion, because a lot of the artists that I think are the most kind of resistant or kind of disturbed by my VRChat stories are the ones that work with like very traditional mediums, like very like their hands are like in the material and they're like making, I don't know, like textiles or like traditional painting or pottery. And I think it's really disturbing for them because like they don't see how the digital world like impacts your, I don't know, like your spirit, I guess, or like your emotions, because so much of it just doesn't make it's so invisible, like how we actually are connected to the internet, and like how our hardware is made, and how all that stuff is just so invisible that people just see the UI and they're like, I don't get it. Like, what are you even doing? What is this even? And I think that's so fair, because I'm like, yeah, it takes so much time to explain, like, well, I make all of this stuff using like vertices and I'm in this like software and then it gets uploaded. I feel like it's just like a matter of just like us not having the information of like how how this stuff works and how it affects us emotionally and like mentally. And yeah, does that make sense? Oh,
No,
I feel like I'm rambling.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I understand. And don't worry if you go on tangents, by the way. Raptor and I enjoy listening to tangents and stuff. We do it ourselves.
We do it all the time. So it's,
I was like, I'm losing my thread.
Oh, no.
No,
Don't worry
fine.
about it at all. It made a lot of sense. I do appreciate hearing your opinion on it. Now, I just have to clarify just to make sure I can understand myself. Did you get into the gaming industry after VRChat, or because of, or were you already on that path before?
I was like an animation, like I was like in the animation industry, like I was 3D. They're kind of similar, but at the same time, there's like some very core differences where I think it is kind of difficult to pivot. So the VRChat stuff is what like leveled me up enough to make that pivot into games. Yeah, and just just like everybody's just so knows so much about games here. Like I've learned so much. I've gone to so many maps of ripped games. I feel like I have so much more context now after playing VRChat for a while. I think I wouldn't be able to get the job just from like lack of knowledge if I didn't play VRChat, you know?
So I have a question for you as well. What was the transition like from what you were doing before into the gaming industry? Was it an easy switch into the job career and the different style of art?
Oh. Well, the animation industry was going through some shit. I mean, it still is, I think. So, after I graduated school, I was able to get jobs really easily, and I would just do like contract jobs. And yeah, I felt like I was like growing. And then I went into compositing because it like made the most money from for like the projects that I was working on, and I thought it was pretty easy. So I was like, okay, I'll just do this. And then yeah, then I all of a sudden all the jobs just dried up, and I couldn't find anything for like a year. And I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm like running out of money. And then yeah, I got because I was like in VRChat for this long, I was like, okay, I'll make a portfolio out of all my avatars and stuff, and then I'll start applying for game jobs. So the work itself wasn't a huge pivot. Like I was able to because of all the things I learned about Unity and stuff, I was able to do the work really quickly. But I think the amazing part was like, you know, because of the economy and like big world stuff, my industry was like going through something really terrible and a lot of people were losing their jobs. And because I was able to learn so much here, I was able to I guess like widen the net of like places I could go to. So I think that's the biggest thing was like just having more skills actually helped me like stay independent and like not homeless. So I was like, oh my god, thank you. Also, I was just really lucky. So yeah.
Okay. What were you expecting, like, just starting out, getting into that industry, having, like, no experience with games prior, may I ask? Well, besides VR chatting, what you've learned here.
What was I expecting?
Yeah, going into the new job, new style of career.
Yeah. Well, first I was just jazzed to like have a job. I was like on cloud nine. I was so happy. And I was like, I'll do whatever you want. But yeah, the studio I work for is really great. They actually like care about workers and they actually like take measures to prevent like burnout and stuff. So I feel like that's really rare and I think I have a very special experience of working in the games industry. But yeah, I have also I feel like I'm in a boot camp where like I'm learning so much new stuff that it's like oh, because games are so complicated. They're so complicated. It's like there's so many moving pieces. It's amazing.
How do you handle the constant learning of things and trying to figure all of those moving parts out? I ask, how do you handle it?
I think my biggest skill is like being comfortable with being dumb. Like that's like helped me learn a lot because I feel like every time I pick up a new skill, I'm like really bad at it and I have so many questions. But I don't beat myself up. I don't beat myself up about it because like there's just so many like even with just learning Blender, like switching from Maya to Blender, I was like, what is that? What does this tool do? And then Google like what tool do? And then you see it, and then asking the stupid questions is helps a lot. And usually people are really nice about it, But also being like delusionally confident that you can solve any problem.
Well, with the modern age of internet, there's tutorials for everything now, so technically you can solve most problems if you put your brain to it.
Exactly.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Well,
I'll leave that
why
alone.
go there?
They keep going the way it is. They're going to have actually the proper way to wipe your ass. Ding.
Go to the show. I can look that up for you after. I can help you out.
Thanks. You asked.
Wait, what's the ding for? What do you mean? Like you'll get a point
everything,
for
everything that the way you're talking and saying that everything that you learn, there's always different branches of way to take it in.
Yeah.
And you're correct. Very correct. And society, for some reason, sometimes doesn't, not to get it into the wrong zone, but people look only, most of the time, only look at, there's no branch. Do you see what I'm getting at? There's only one road. It just keeps going straight. That's the only road I can take. And I was taught, and everything else like this, you got to think outside the box and see the different directions you can take it. And there is no wrong. And everything else, you've learned it. I've learned it, and it took me a while, and because my dad was really hard. Oh, there's only one way it's got to be done, and this is the way. But when you start doing stuff and you look at it going, wait a minute, it's still the same. It could be different, but I'm still getting the job done, and it's still right. That's something that you as a person's got to learn it. And It's not taught to you. Your parents can't teach you that. You got to figure it out. That's not one of those things you can guide you in that direction, but you as a person has got to figure out, does it just stay straight or does it branch? Do you take a left? Do you take a right, or just keep going forward? And sometimes a lot of people, don't get me wrong, lines deal with me and stuff like this. I'm not the smartest person when it comes to computers and stuff like this, but it'd be like me telling him how to work on a car. See, everybody's got their knack in a different zone. You just got to work around it. Once you learn it at your own direction and the road that you decide to take, you pick it up and then you see the way he says it and everything else like this. And it's a hard road to travel sometimes. When you get older, you look at, after a while, everybody goes, hey, Raptor, you have no filter. I don't. But I respect and still respect everybody that was around, because that's the way I was raised. Lion was raised the same way. But you got to think. And some people just don't want to think. They just want to travel that straight line. And you have a lot of collisions. You have a lot of issues. Well, that's not the way I was taught. What? You can't teach yourself. You can't learn. That's what I'm getting at. When you shut down and say that's the only way it's directionally got to go, and there's all different directions of doing something, no matter what you're doing. It could be drawing. You draw differently than I do and stuff like that. But the pointers you give me, or I give you from the experience and stuff like this, is a complete different way of shading, way of painting, whatever the deal is. There's a way to it. There's not a certain way to hold the pen or hold the paintbrush. It's how it's comfortable in your own hands. And that's the same way with society, is the same way. And sometimes it's lost. It's an art. Sometimes it can be lost if somebody doesn't keep it up and keep going. So somebody else might be interested in it. That's just the way I say it. But with the ding and stuff like that, with the deal of teaching you how to wipe your ass.
Wipe their butt in their own way.
Yeah, wipe their own way, pretty much. You got it. That's right. There ain't a right and wrong. Unless you use a bidet and you're just going, wow, that felt good. Oh, now I'm feeling dry. Yeah, if you get my drift.
Oh, I love bidets.
Whoa. We'll ask the last couple of questions before we start wrapping this up. I think you've kind of answered both of them a little bit, but where did the name you got, where did it come from, and why do you still use it?
Oh, why do I still use it? Man, that's just me now, That's just BabyBonito. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like she's like a OC now,
Okay.
An original character.
Oh.
Maybe I'll make another one day, but this BabyBonito's who I like to be in VRChat right now.
All right. And the avatar you're in, where'd it come from? Why do you still use it? And is there anything about it that now means anything to you? Or about it that means anything to you?
Oh. This one actually I made made it into like a raccoon for ferality. It was my first ferality, and I thought it was really cute. And I just I like the face. I have a bunch of faces on it. And there's something about the like low polyness and the like drawn style of it. It's sort of like not trying to be because this is actually maybe this is like too was that psycho analyzing myself, but I feel like I see so many really beautiful like almost realistic avatars being made or like, anime but like really beautiful. And I'm like I could never in my life. So instead of trying to compete, I just go the opposite way. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go less and less poly and try less and less so that, you can shine in your beautiful anime way and I can be like just more like wiggly and expressive.
Makes a lot of sense. I don't think there's any right or wrong way to have an avatar. I enjoy hearing the answers to those questions because a lot of the time people purposely choose how they represent themselves, and you can learn a lot from why they choose the avatar, the name, the
Yeah,
clothing choice. It's personal.
so true. Yeah, they mean a lot.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, thank you very much, Baby Bonito, for taking the time and letting us get to know you. It's been an absolute
Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
for
been
having me.
great.
It was a
Yeah, it's
pleasure.
great.
honor.
So fun.
Where can the audience find you if they wish to find you?
You can go to my website, babybonito.ca.
Oh, well, that'll be in the description for you to find.
That's the only plug.
That's the only plug? That's fine.
My website.
That's cool.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it at all. And that'll be in the description if you wish to find. And if you're in the Spotify, it's in the episode description, both in a little section labeled guest links. Everything, though, the one link will be there for you to find if you so choose to click. Oh.
My one link.
Oh. And with that said, we'll ask you, the audience, a question before we pass over to Raptor to shut it down. It is, what is a comic or an anime or manga that you've seen or like or enjoy? I'd like to hear and read all of your answers as well. One that sticks with me is Dot Hack, one of the first like VR metaverse-esque style things I've read that I actually enjoyed back in high school, like 15 years ago? No, 17 years ago. That's a statement I don't like making. Anyway, Raptor, back to you.
What the hell? Thanks, throw it on me like that, you ass. No matter what, folks, I always say, no matter what you're doing, if you have a dream, just like the young lady in front of us, you have a dream and you shoot for it the hardest way you can find it. No matter what it is, tall grass, wherever, or lying being a shit, and everything else like this. Love your friends and enjoy their situations, but sometimes you look beyond that and you can laugh. And if you laugh, they try to find out what you're laughing about. So keep laughing, folks. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks a lot, you asshole. I had something to... You dick. And you keep he's still recording. You asshole.
That I am.
You asshole. I wonder if you can ride the train and go inside the fucking over there. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. How big
It
that wall is.
goes
though.
in there and goes around. Why? And it goes around.
Oh, it does. Holy shit.
Fuck yeah, it goes fucking around. I don't know where it goes. Like I said, I just got here. I don't know where everything is.
Huh.
I have to check this place out.
Definitely. We're going to have to.
There's another one. There's another one I got to show you that it's called the, yeah, hold on. Another one is called the Cozy Woods. That one's cool.
Oh, okay. We're definitely going to check that out too. There's a bunch we're going to have to check out.
Yeah, there's some new ones in.